Hey, Buff Nation, voice of the boss, Mark Johnson here. Coming up this week in the Buffalo Stampede, Colorado football with a dramatic victory for homecoming as they knock off Oregon State in double overtime. We're going to catch up with Coach Gary Barnett and sideline reporter Andy Lindo. Plus, it was Hall of Fame weekend. We're going to talk to two of the greats in Colorado history, soccer standout Nicky Marshall and great running back Chris Brown. All this week on the Buffalo Stampede.
Dimitri Stanley's going to take it to the house.
There is why he's one of the best linebackers in America. And there he goes! Touchdown! Right between the eyes from downtown.
Attaboy Lolo.
It's a winner for the Buffs.
Ball is right in front. A couple of shot fakes to Chief Barry.
Actually, this will be a 43-yard field goal attempt. Matt Lynch, snap, put down. Becker's kick is up. It's on its way, and it's good! The Buffaloes, in dramatic fashion, after a night of adversity and pitfall, they come through in double overtime and knock off Oregon State 37-34, and the students rain down at Folsom Field. A W for Colorado. How about that one, Buff Nation? In double overtime, there's the 43-yard kick by freshman kicker Cole Becker as the Buffaloes knock off the Beavers of Oregon State 37-34. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Buffalo Stampede. A little lighter field around here. Voice of the boss, Mark Johnson, Coach Gary Barnett. You've been there for those games. It's got to be a huge weight off this football team.
Well, it is a huge weight off this football team. It's a huge weight off all those coaches. That's who I really feel for and know how much they appreciate it. To have your team go through the adversity and situations that this team went through tonight and to recover from almost every one and to win it the way it happened it's just poetic that it happened this way. And so I know the coaches are proud, the players are proud of each other. All of a sudden all this work seems to make sense. All of a sudden the things that you talk about in certain situations, your goal line offense, your goal line defense, they all make total sense now as to how it all works together. And this team played really hard and well together. We talked about the challenge of somebody stepping up on defense. Yeah. And you know, Quinn Perry stepped up and had a great game. Robert Barnes came in and made a big play. Jack Lamb, linebacker, made a big play. Mustafa Johnson. I mean, we go right down the line. How many times they even try to throw the ball on Christian Gonzalez? They couldn't do it. We have an interception, you know, by Isaiah Lewis. I mean, it's just one great play after another, all tucked into one game, and we got to call it.
Yeah, we did. It was a lot of fun, believe me. A little nerve-wracking at times. Do we make too much when we talk about the galvanizing effect or a maturation effect that comes from a game like this? Does that actually happen? Do you see it when you're a coach?
You'll know next week.
Okay.
You
Simple
know,
as that.
Whether it's you'll know.
Yeah.
And whether it really happened or it was an outlier. Right. But, you know, you hope it does, but you know that it's going to take another week. Like I've told you before, it takes 3 dots to make in a straight line. You can't do it with just 2, and certainly not with 1. So before you know it's a trend, there's got to be 3 of them.
Yeah. Well, the Buffaloes, for the second week in a row, you saw offensive improvement out there. And listen, you were an athlete. You like to golf right now. When you have some success, you build upon that. And you would think for a guy like Brendan Lewis to have 2 games back-to-back like this where he's made some plays. He had 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. That's got to just add to that confidence for a quarterback.
Well, between last week and this week, he has grown enormously. Yeah. And, you know, he struggled, and we talked about it, and we talked about his struggles and you know, what his flaws have been. But you know what he hadn't done? He hadn't turned the ball over.
No.
He doesn't make that kind of mistake. He may not be able to execute it the way that you and I hoped it would or thought it would, but he did tonight, and he did a lot of that last week, so that's growth.
Buffaloes had another game. They did not turn the ball over. He's only thrown 3 picks this season. They've got 6 total turnovers on the season. When Carl Durrell came out of the locker room to talk to us on the Colorado Football Network, there was a smile on his face. You could feel the weight lifted off of him. And we heard from his post-game press conference after the Buffs' victory over the Beavers.
What a ball game that was. You know, there were some really good things that happened in that game. It was something that we felt that our team grew up from a week prior was I felt like the offense, a couple weeks ago was starting to find themselves, and we challenged them about, starting faster and doing some positive things early. And I felt they came out and did some really good things at the start of the game. I know the first drive was a field goal, the second drive was a touchdown. Those are things that they haven't been customary for us, so far this season. So I felt that they did some really, really good things, in the course of the game. Brendan Lewis continues to play well. He's getting better. The skill around him's confident. It was good to see that our run game had some run production today. So I felt like offensively we're really starting to hit our stride a little bit, probably for the first time this season.
Well, it was head coach Carl Durrell after the Buffaloes' double overtime victory, 37-34. They knock off the Beavers of Oregon State. That game went to overtime because of a 60-yard kick. You got to give credit to the kicker for the Beavers. That was one heck of a kick. Tied a Folsom Field record, by the way, for longest field goal ever.
It was a heck of a kick, but let me tell you, that was a great call by Brian Lindgren, their offensive coordinator.
Former Buff assistant.
Former Buff assistant, to get that ball where it did. I thought that they were just going to run it out. I didn't think that they had enough time to do anything but a Hail Mary, but they put one more second on the clock, and that gave him the 1 second that he needed to get a field goal team on the field and kick the long field goal. So that's what both teams played so admirably and with so much character tonight.
Great to see Cole Becker getting that opportunity. Kicked a 52-yarder earlier, missed one, and then get a 40, not a chip shot, that's a 43-yard field goal. That's a nice long
Another
field.
guy overcoming something.
That's right.
So
this defense bent at times really didn't break tonight. I mean, without Nate Lamb, you wonder, they don't have their best player out there, kind of their quarterback on that side, the guy that always makes the plays. You mentioned Quinn Perry earlier, Marvin Ham, Jack Lamb, on and on down the line. Guys are stepping up and making some great plays out there and getting stops when they needed to.
They played a really good game against a really, offensively,
it's a very good football team.
Highest ranked offense in the conference. So they did a great job. And Chris Wilson's got to be really proud.
Yeah, I would think so. The atmosphere here tonight, we haven't seen that here for a while.
No, we haven't. But it was a perfect night, and the students were awesome. And it was so funny during the overtime when they moved all the way down here. It was cool to watch.
Next week, the Buffs have got to go on the road against a UCLA team that's a little Jekyll and Hyde. At times they look very, very good. At other times you're not so sure about them.
Hey, this whole Pac-12 is that way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of Jekylls and Hydes out here, and that game's going to be one of those. But if we've grown, if this is an outlier, it's going to be a heck of a game.
Yeah, it has to make this week easier in practice, right? I mean, you've been there when you get a win like this, and that message is probably a little bit more accepted.
You know what it's easier to do? Make them work.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. They'll work harder. They'll do whatever you say this week, and so you get a chance to get more out of them this week than you ever have.
The Buffaloes next week will be on the road against the UCLA Bruins. That's a 7 o'clock Mountain Time game. Coach Bobby Pesavento and I are going to have the broadcast beginning at 5 on the Colorado Football Network. After we take a quick time out here at the Buffalo Stampede, our silent reporter Andy Lindahl is going to join us next. But it's a first down and 10. Play action now. This is Lewis, not Lynch. All kinds of time. Down the left side. Arias wide open. End zone. Makes the grab. Touchdown. Touchdown, Colorado. A 43-yard strike from Brendan Lewis to Daniel Arias, and he was so alone, it looked like he was late for school out there. There was nobody within 10 yards of him. 43-yard touchdown catch by Daniel Arias. A big, big play in this ball game as the Buffaloes win in double overtime, 37-34 over the Beavers of Oregon State. Back in the Stampede, silent reporter Andy Lindahl, voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Well, you got to feel the energy down here tonight. We haven't felt that for a while around here.
We haven't, and luckily, I want some acknowledgement. I'm looking sweet. I'm all matching, little black and gold.
I'm not sure I'm going to agree with that.
Look, I've come on this thing after rain, after sweating all day. No, it was a perfect day, and we got a perfect game of football. Yeah. And I feel so good for these kids right now because you talked. We just saw the Arias play there. Brendan Lewis just threw the ball today. This just felt like a good college football game, okay? I know you and Coach talked. We don't know that this will carry over necessarily next week into the Rose Bowl to upset UCLA, but I don't care. This is the most relaxed I've seen this team all year. The kids were having fun. There's good energy in the building, and I will give it to the Buffalo's crowd. The students have shown up. There was more traffic coming up here on my way up to Boulder than I thought there would be. Nobody has quit on this team. They've received great support. The players mentioned they've noticed. And you know what? I think we all got to enjoy our evening tonight.
Yeah, without question. But it was good to see the Buffaloes find some balance out there, be productive in the running game, which they were. We mentioned earlier that Jarek Broussard had 145 rushing yards. Brendan Lewis throws the ball well. Chase Penry made plays. Arias makes the touchdown. Brendan Rice does what Brendan Rice does. I mean, there were so many guys. We haven't gotten to the defensive side of the ball. How many guys were making plays in this game?
Yeah, and you know, it starts with Brendan Lewis letting guys have a chance to make plays. He wasn't afraid to throw the football. Again, we talked about the Brendan Rice play. We got a chance to get Brendan off the field. Not a pass you should throw. Coach said it during the call. Yeah. He did everything wrong. You broke every little rule that a quarterback has about throwing across your body and back into the teeth of the D and all that stuff. Doesn't matter. You let a playmaker make a play. Rice told us he didn't even think he was going to throw it because he knew he shouldn't be throwing that, and yet Rice is ready to make a play. Look, the offensive line has played physical. I'd be curious to know from you or coach or whoever, you know, sometimes just adjusting your splits. I don't know what that is. I don't know if getting the guys tighter together has helped. Something has helped this Buff offensive line play a little bit more physical. Yeah. It's not perfect, but there are running lanes out there. Coach talked about it. A little cut off here, a little cut off there. Jarek Broussard's probably going to the house a couple of times. They've really cleaned some things up, and they look very different since the bye week, don't they?
How about that play by Montana Limonius, Craig, the touchdown he had? That was right over your shoulder, right back here to get the toe down. And he comes to his turn break and says, I'm not sure he got the toe down.
So I'm standing, we're in the corner of the end zone right now, and I'm standing basically 5 yards that way. And I'm telling you, Montana did a great job of bodying the defender like this to make sure that he couldn't make a play on the ball. The defender made a smart play to decide, fine, I'm just going to drill you, and he got him. I mean, he got him full on. And of course, like, he flopped onto his face. I'm describing it for radio, even though we're on TV. I did not think he was able to scrape the toe down. I was so worried we were going to have that call back, but luckily, as Coach says, often sure, but never, always sure, but often wrong. I was happy to be wrong on that one.
But Montana seems to have a penchant for that kind of thing. He's made some of those catches, and that's why you get so excited about this team, is to see the growth for the Colorado Buffaloes. Afterward, we heard from a number of players in the postgame press conference after the Buffaloes' double overtime win over the Oregon State Beavers.
Yeah, I mean, that's the moment all young kickers dream of. It was just cool to see my team rally after the miss. Like, I stepped off the sideline and I was down on myself, but nobody else was, and everybody just kept picking me up. And I think that's really what helped me get back into the right mindset to hit that ball.
I feel like I've been progressing every week, and I feel like my teammates are a big part of that. They're going out there making plays for me. The line is holding up well, so I just feel like we're all progressing as a unit, as a whole.
Last week we left plays on the table, so we knew that if we tighten up our game scheme that we could, fit the gaps properly, and we had fixed the game plan a little bit to free us up in the gaps and let the safeties rotate a little more. So it's pretty much just, we know what we're capable of doing, so just really focus up and take the opportunities that present themselves.
My teammates never gave up faith in me. They always told me that they still believe in me each and every game, even when we weren't playing well. So I feel like they've done a great job of lifting me up and helping me progress as a player. Coach Lanes, Coach Durrell, Coach Shev. Practice has been a lot better. So I feel like it all starts in practice. So every week we just keep progressing, and it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling knowing we're getting better each and every week.
Now, certainly some happy players after the Buffaloes' double overtime win, 37-34, as they take care of the Beavers of Oregon State. We continue with sideline reporter Andy Lindell. How about this defense, though, tonight? I mean, this defense bent many times. They didn't break much, and you're out there without Nate Lamb, the leader on that defense, and one of the best linebackers in America, Quinn Perry, Jack Lamb, Marvin Ham, Robert Barnes. Those guys, those linebackers were stepping in and making plays and upping their game without having 53 out there.
The defensive line played very physical, and if they're going to do that, then the linebackers have got to make plays, because that means they're taking blockers off those guys. And you know what? Quinn Perry played a man's game, because the Oregon running backs, they may not look big. They are very stout runners. They get their legs underneath them. There are a couple times where, again, blockers kept off them. There's the hole. Is Quinn Perry in the back in the hole, and he just squared up and was like, all right, bring it to me. And the back would have momentum. And the last play was very critical near the end there, where he just stymied. I mean, he just stopped him. And Mark, we watched a lot of football. That doesn't always happen. We're talking not even allowing him to go forward. I mean, we had talked in pregame that someone has to step up and fill the hole for Nate Landman. Now, multiple guys are still going to have to do this. Nate Landman is a special player. Every time he's out, we tend to see it.
That's right.
I think Quinn Perry took a big step tonight, though. He was adjusting defensive linemen, and it was almost, he told us after the game, is like Landman was in his head. You could see it working mentally for him tonight.
Quinn told us that he and Nate are roommates on the road, and he said Nate is always coaching him when he comes out the field. He said, I get out there, I can hear Nate speaking inside my helmet around the field. That's huge stuff.
The other thing I want to just give a shout out to the whole team for is there were a lot of penalties that went against them, and that over here was not a holding. On the first time they scored a touchdown to go ahead was not a holding on Chenault.
That was a Chenault got the penalty and end around to Brendan Rice, scored a touchdown. They pulled it off for holding.
That was a ref calling what he thought happened, not what he saw happen, because again, there was no holding there. But they did not let anything get them down. They were determined to win this game. Again, I don't know what it'll mean for win-loss towards the end of the year. I think this all will work tremendously as momentum towards the next year.
Listen, we've all gone through adversity in life. You have something bad happen, it's tough to pick yourself off the mat and then overcome that, and they certainly did that. A great victory for Colorado. They improved to 3-6 in the season. They're 2-4 now in Pac-12 conference play. Next up, you've got UCLA at the Rose Bowl next week, 7 o'clock Mountain Time, 5 o'clock with the pregame. That's Andy Lindell, our Sound reporter. Coming up next to Stampede, it's also Hall of Fame weekend this past weekend, and we caught up with a number of Hall of Famers on their induction ceremony last Thursday night.
This class is really diverse from a sport perspective. We've got 3 of our former football players being inducted tonight. We've got an incredibly great women's soccer student athlete being inducted tonight. Hall of Fame ski coach. We've got a great gymnast that is here tonight that's being inducted tonight. Way to go, Jack. But we also have Lee Willard that was being honored for being a letter winner in 4 sports, which is pretty incredible if you think about it. We had a great cross country and track athlete here, and we also have an incredible men's basketball inductee tonight, and we're really excited about this entire class. You've left an incredible legacy here, and what I will tell all of you, these student athletes that I get the privilege of working with every day are incredible. They're leaving an incredible legacy for the people that follow them. And I want you to know how proud we are of them and their efforts.
There's Athletic Director Rick George. Last Thursday night, it was a 16th class inducted into the CU Sports Hall of Fame. Voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Chris Brown right here, running back for the Buffaloes. Great one, 01-02. That had to be quite an honor for you.
Oh, it's a great honor. I mean, you can't really put it into words what it meant to me. As you guys saw my speech, kind of lost it a little bit, but it meant a lot to me. Everything that I've been through, transferring in, it was like my last shot to make something happen. So I definitely enjoyed it, appreciate the reception I got.
You know, you got a little emotion up there. We saw Chris Nailed get a little emotion up there. It kind of shows for all of you guys, though, what this means, what this institution, what this program has meant to you guys, and how it affected your lives, right?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it really just starts your life off when you get going, then moving on to the next level and stuff. I mean, we learned so much being here, being coached by some great coaches. It meant a lot, and that's where all the emotion comes from.
You know, talking about coming full circle. So I get here in 04, so I just missed you. Right? That was an 01 year. You guys won the Big 12. Gary Barnett's the coach when I got here. Now he's working with me on the broadcast, you know, so his career hasn't gone very well. You know, he's kind of dropped down to my level. But what did Gary Barnett mean to you?
You know, he gave me a second chance. And he was a man of his word, so he was going to give me a chance to play running back. And when I transferred, that's all I wanted. And he stood by that. And I respect him so much, and I love him for that.
Yeah. When you think about your great moments here, how often do you hear to somebody that knows that you're a Buff say 62-36 to you?
That's usually one of the first things that come out of their mouth. You know, I mean, that's just one game. You can pick one game. It meant so much to the whole school, football program and everything. It was a big win for us.
You guys were so good in 2001. Nearly played for a national championship, won the Big 12, of course, beating Texas in the title game. During that game, the way you guys kind of came back in the second half, I mean, could you feel it on the field? What was going on?
Well, we believed in ourselves. We knew what we were capable of doing. And we practiced all week. We didn't play them before, so we knew. Go out there, do what we're supposed to do, we'll take care of itself.
Yeah. Now, you'd played Texas earlier in the year. Now you got to play them in the title game. Did you kind of feel it was going to be a different outcome?
Oh, 100% we knew it was. 100% we knew it was going to be a different outcome. But we knew we played them well during the season. We just had too many turnovers, and we knew we come out there and do what we're supposed to do, take care of the ball. everything will take care of itself.
What was special? Anytime I talk to anybody who was not a great team like you were. I mean, here we think of, 89 and 90 and 94 and 2001. Those are great teams here at Colorado. What was special about that group?
We all really have one heartbeat. We knew what we were supposed to do. We all worked together. Great offense. We're all on the same page. We had a great defense, and they got us the ball back. You really can't put into words how much team camaraderie we had. Yeah. We enjoyed being around each other. We enjoyed competing in practice. The practices were tough, and that's what made us better.
Is it true? Was Gary still doing? He wasn't doing the 3-a-days when you got here. That was over, right?
Yeah, that was over. Yeah, we didn't have that. We were only on 2-a-days.
That's right. What was he like as a coach for you guys, though?
No, I thought he was a great coach. He put us in a great situation. He pushed us hard, and he knew when to get off the gas pedal too.
Yeah. There's something special. You think about college athletics. You played a number of years in the NFL. That becomes a business, doesn't it? Which makes you appreciate what college is all about.
Oh, definitely. It's definitely more of a business when you go to the NFL. College is more your teammates. You get to know everybody. It's still kind of growing up together, and it means a lot to each other.
You still pay attention to what's going on with the Buffs?
Oh yeah, I try to keep up with it as much as I can if I don't have my kids doing sports.
Bring folks up to date what you're doing now.
Right now I'm a chauffeur. Okay. I drive my kids around. They keep me busy all day, every day.
Yep. How many kids do you have?
Three.
You got 3 kids? How old are they?
My oldest son is 15. My middle daughter's 13. And my youngest son's 10.
Yeah. Well, it's great to have you as a Hall of Famer here at CU.
Thank you.
All right, the great Chris Brown. It was a great night last Thursday night here at the CU Event Centers. We inducted the 16th class of Colorado history. Coming up next, another Hall of Famer, Mickey Marshall.
I wasn't coming here. And once I got on this campus, everything changed. Everything changed. And it changed my life. And what Coach Mack did with the class of '83 was unbelievable. 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 I made the best choice of my life to come to CU and play. Best choice of my life.
Life has come a little bit full circle for me. As Mickey said, setting foot in Boulder on CU campus really did change the trajectory for my life too. I had an amazing career at CU, professionally as well, and now I'm doing something I love, which didn't include my history degree that I got from here. I get to coach people, and so I know a lot more about running than I do history, but when I set foot here on this campus, those guys brought me into something truly special here, a culture of a team that is still continuing to produce results to this day.
Well, great to hear from a number of Hall of Famers of the 16th induction class of the CU Athletic Hall of Fame. We heard from Mickey Pruitt, Dathan Ritzenheim, and she's Nikki Malone now. You knew it was Nikki Marshall when she was here, another Hall of Famer in soccer, greatest soccer player in Colorado history. What was this like for you?
I mean, words can't describe it, right? Yeah. We were asked to do a 5-minute speech, and I couldn't put into 5 minutes what this university and the people here mean to me. So I'm just grateful. I'm so grateful. I've learned everything. I've learned so much about life from the people here in this university.
So it's always kind of a neat, and I love talking to Hall of Famers, when you get the call from Rick George. First time, you're not sure why he's calling, right? What was that moment like?
I mean, I was kind of shocked. He's like, "It's Rick George," and I'm like, Rick George, why are you calling me? But so I'm just an honor though. I mean, when he says we're inducting you into the Hall of Fame, it's like, it's amazing. It's like everything you've worked for is kind of coming in, it's a culmination of things, and it feels good, and it's an honor. It really is an honor, and I'm grateful.
That's something you don't think about when you're walking in here as an 18-year-old freshman. You're not thinking about Hall of Fame, those kind of things. Take us back to that decision and you walking on campus as an 18-year-old girl, not sure what to expect, right? Yeah,
I think it was easy for me because Bill and Paul recruited me hard, and they made me feel like they wanted me, and I didn't have tons of recruits that made me feel that way, right? And so that's a testament to the people that are here and my family. I wanted to be close to my family. So, and how can you say no to this? We should have the best. We should have the #1 team in the country every year, no matter what sport, because this place is easy to recruit to, right? It's beautiful, and I'm a homebody. Colorado is my home, but this place is incredible, and I mean, it's not like anything else in the country. So
you talk about Bill recruiting you. What did he mean to you as a coach?
Oh, everything. I mean, Bill and Paul together, they were this incredible tandem. They were this balance, right? This yin and yang, and Bill was a little harder on us, and Paul was there to catch us when we fell, you know. But Bill taught us about being great, and the two of them taught me so much about life. And you know, right, the thing about sport is that it teaches you everything about life, and so you can go on and you can take everything you learned in sport and apply it to life and your future and to your children, and it's incredible.
You know, she got up on the podium tonight, and you know, all the accolades and playing college and internationally and professionally, and you told a story about failure and what that taught you.
Yeah, I mean, I told a story about losing because I think those are the most important moments in our career, and especially with Bill and Paul there to catch me when I fell. You know, that's what I talked about, the failure and the power, the greatness in failing. And for me, I think that's where I learned, those were the defining moments in my career.
What did you learn about, got people, other Hall of Famers right behind us. What did you learn about yourself as an athlete?
I mean, I think I learned about people. That's a weird thing to say, but what I learned about myself is how to connect with other people, and how people can pick you up, and how life is nothing without other people and without teammates and coaches. And so that's a weird answer, but I mean, it's the truth. It's the people that make you, and the people that make life, right?
Bring us up to date with what you're doing now. You mentioned the kids.
I'm a mother of two. I kind of run a side business. I coach on the side, which I love. I do private lessons, and I work for a technology company that allows me to live the lifestyle I want, and you know, just loving life. So
awesome. I'm looking at this. You know, I'm getting old when the athletes that I covered when I first got here are now becoming Hall of Famers. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Nikki Malone, Nikki Marshall was a great soccer player here at the University of Colorado. As we put a wrap this week after a phenomenal Hall of Fame induction ceremony on the Buffalo Stampede. I'm voice of the Buffs, Mark Johnson. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.